Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Shahin Ghadir, and I'm an expert in the world of fertility, the area that I love and have deep passion for. I have helped thousands of people around the globe start their beautiful families, and in this podcast, The Fertile Life, I interview guests about their paths to parenthood and dive into discussions around how the road to becoming a parent shapes us. Also looking at the balance between family and many responsibilities life demands from us. And we'll be discussing the challenges that we encounter along the way. Through insightful conversations, I hope to create a guide for listeners in all stages of life and break many stigmas often associated with fertility. We will also share all the health and wellness tips my guests and I have learned over the years. Follow along as I take you on a journey towards the fertile life. Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Ghadir, and I hope you are doing well. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Fertile Life that talks about a lot of things fertility related and also about being a human being in this day and age and how life takes over. Tonight, I'm really excited to talk to Virginia Thornton. She is lovely. And we got to know each other really well. And I'm really proud of her because tonight we're going to be inciting a lot of people out there which have been in similar shoes to her and to many, many, many other women in this country. We're going to teach you a little bit of how to be a really smart woman like this woman was. Virginia, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I want you to introduce yourself. And one of the things I like to do is allow people to say what they want to say about them and let my audience and your audiences and all the people that are going to be listening in the future know exactly what it is you like to be known as.
Okay. So again, my name is Virginia Thornton. I'm the co-owner and creative director for a wellness studio called Get Well Soon. We're based in Norfolk, Virginia, little Norfolk, Virginia. But we do guided meditations, yoga. We have infrared sauna, facial massage, and then we also have a social club. So it's a fun little wellness studio. We're not boring.
Wow. So I knew a lot of that, but I didn't know the last aspect of that. And we're definitely going to touch base on that because that sounds like it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Very.
Is it just for women?
No, not at all.
Okay, good. Because there's a few different places like that here in LA that have become like social clubs and do all those things like spa-like things, but it's just for women. So Thank you for making it inclusive. You know, we're all about that on The Fertile Life. It's not all about women. Okay. So that is fantastic. For those of you who don't know, Virginia is also an unbelievable mom and wife and entrepreneur. How old is your baby right now?
He is 9 months. He's almost 10 months, and I can't even believe it. It's insane.
It's insane. It's insane. The first year flies by so fast. My oldest turned 12 this week. And
wow.
I don't know. And she's already graduating from her school where she goes and moving on to secondary school and got accepted. And I remember the other night I told my wife, I said, I remember when I was holding her the first night we came home in her rocking chair in her purple and white room. Aww. And rocking her and tears were coming down my eyes. And I can't believe she's 12 years old now. And she does TikToks.
Wow. Nigel's room is purple and white too.
Oh, was it? Oh my God,
Yeah.
how cute. How cute. So let's talk a little bit about how we got to know each other because I really like the essence of this podcast to be to really enlighten people, empower people. And I'm saying people. So it's not only women, but a lot of followers of this podcast are going to be women. A lot of my patients are women, but of course I treat men, I treat gay couples, single individuals. LGBT community is huge in my practice. But let's talk a little bit about how we met and let people know about a little bit of your journey that I know that you've been very interested to share. And I'm really proud of you for doing that because all you're doing is helping people that are in similar shoes to you.
So in all honesty, I think it was more so my husband. He saw how frustrated I was getting with the whole trying to conceive process. I'm sure a lot of women can relate, but a friend referred you. And he was like, let's just, have a consultation. Let's just talk to him, see if we like him, and we'll go from there. If we don't like him, we don't have to go, And I had a phone conversation with you and the rest is history. Like, I think the one thing that made me stick to you, Dr. Ghadir, was you're very blunt and I'm very blunt. So I like, in a good way. It's not a bad thing, but I like for people to straight talk me, like tell me what it is. Don't sugarcoat it. And you can still hold my hand too.
So,
what you did.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I want to be very careful saying that because I am really blunt and I'm straightforward because I've been in the situation where I had to do IVF with my own wife and you just want to get to the point at that point, like if you're just dilly dallying and sugarcoating and not getting to what's the point? I just don't see a point. I'm very honest. I'm very caring. My heart is in the right place. But at the same time, I think I have an ability, thank God, to be able to straight shoot and tell people what I really think they need to do.
Yeah.
And then I also give choices. So if someone is not gung-ho about going straight into IVF, I tell everyone, I'm not here to force anyone, but I'm here to tell you what your highest chances of success are, what you're going to do best in, what is going to give you opportunities to have embryos left over for the future, what's going to allow your embryos to be genetically tested and do well. And it kind of comes back a lot to the IVF cycle. And there's a lot of people that have been through a lot before they see me. And I remember how much we went through for 2 years of trying and doing things before we're like, okay, enough is enough. We have a kid, we had a miscarriage. There's something going on.
Yeah. No, I appreciated it a lot.
Good. And I remember, if I remember correctly, didn't your husband come and see me alone?
Yeah.
So that is a rare thing in my office for the husband to come to an infertility specialist alone. But I think we had you on the phone or we talked later. I don't remember exactly. It's been a little bit.
I was on the East Coast. He was on the West Coast working. So he popped in to talk to you. And then I talked to you over the phone.
And he's a really super duper good guy. I can tell that he's got a heart of gold. And obviously he's a smart guy because look at his wife.
He's pretty smart.
Yes, he is. So one of the things that we decided to do, because some people don't want to waste a lot of time and some people really want to do things to be proactive, which Virginia really did, was freezing embryos. And doing the IVF process and making as many healthy embryos as we could. I don't remember, and nor do we need to get into how many you did, but thank God you've got extras for future babies. I want you to kind of explain to people like the thought process you were going through when you were getting started and any fears that you had, things that like you thought but weren't really true, things you were scared of but turned out to be either scary or not. I'd love to hear a little bit of that going on.
So to be totally honest, I was so stressed out just trying to have a baby spontaneously that when it came down to like, oh, let's just do IVF, it was a huge sigh of relief for me. Like I wasn't even scared. The biggest thing for me was like trying to figure out, okay, how do I poke myself in the belly? But honestly, it was a huge sigh of relief when I decided, let's just go ahead and do IVF. And
I want to just jump in there. I think for many people who have done IUI cycles, artificial insemination cycles, and get there, I think for many, it is a big relief, whether they were scared, whether they financially had to figure it out to get there, whether it is getting their partner on the same page. I think many, many, many people that eventually get there are really, really happy to finally get there and know that there is a light at the end of this journey for them.
Yeah. And I think for me, once we actually started, it was shocking to me how many, and I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but how many like follicles I had was insane. So just to know like, wait, I had all these follicles and for almost a year and a half, I couldn't, conceive.
Well, I got to tell you, the unexplained factors that go on in the world of fertility and infertility are huge. After we did IVF with my wife, we had another baby spontaneously, a surprise. She's 3 years old now, about to be 4. And if I'm a fertility specialist and I couldn't figure out what was going on, and then it started to work again, like there's stuff that happens in the world of fertility.
To work again.
I mean, something was happening that we don't know at all what happened. We had a kid. then we couldn't have a kid. And then we had another kid. And we, in the middle, the IVF ones turned out to be twins because we chose to put 2 embryos in. And I never pushed that onto anyone who's not ready or wanting it. I'm really happy that I had twins. I think it's one of the most beautiful things in the world. But at the same time, I'm lucky that we have a lot of help and a lot of family around all the time. It's a lot of work if you're alone and you don't have people holding your hand and doing things for you.
Mm-hmm.
One is a lot of work.
Yeah. With help and family and everything else.
Yes. So, you said something about the shots and then the follicles. And I want to kind of do this in an organized way. The way that we kind of get people started is that everyone gives us a ring with their menstrual cycle. When it starts, they know they're not pregnant. We bring them in, we do blood tests, we do ultrasounds. It kind of assesses where you are, how fertile you look. And then we make some protocols that match your needs. Like younger women need a little bit of medicine. They're very fertile. Older women will need a little bit more medicine because they're not as fertile. One of the good things about the shots is that, for you responded really well. So people that are younger, healthier, that have a good reserve, and we just don't know why they're not getting pregnant, they usually respond to the medications really, really, really well. And I think that's really good. And I'm so glad that you did. Those shots, we got to put this myth to bed right now. Okay. I know you were terrified. My wife was terrified, and there's not one person that runs in here excited about doing shots, but were you okay with them?
Yes, totally. So I came to your office. I don't know if you remember, every day for maybe like the first couple of days for one of the nurses to give me the shots. And then after I was like, come on, this is ridiculous. And then I tried it one morning, and after that, I just did it myself for the rest of the days.
Do you know that the number one call we get from patients is that I'm not sure if I'm getting the medicine because the needle is so small. And, one of them stings a little, okay, the Menopur, but some of them are, and if you have a little bit of padding on you, like it's really sometimes difficult to even feel this thing well.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think it's something that my wife, who's terrified of needles and doesn't do well with them at all, after a few days, I was rushing home. I'm like, I'll be right there. She's like, don't come. I gave it to myself. And I never had to go home again either. So that fear of the injection of the needle, they are tiny. They are incredibly tiny. And I don't really think that they hurt that much. It's maybe like a little prick and you're done.
Not at all, honestly.
Good.
Yep.
And we have that service in our office. I don't know if other clinics do, but if you want our nurses to give them to you, you can just come here every day and we take care of all of that for you. We even send nurses to people's homes if they want to have the injection given at home. So we even have that service available too.
Mm-hmm. You guys are great.
So after about 10 to 12 days of those injections and a few visits to the office, usually people's eggs are ready to come out. What did you think about the whole process of like going under that sedation that your eggs come out?
So I don't know if I was just a little bit of a drama queen or what, but it took forever for me to come out of the sedation. You were like, are you still here? Why are you still here? No, but it was, to me, obviously it seemed quick just because I was sedated, but coming out of it was, I don't know, I think I cried, honestly.
Do you remember or feel anything?
I did. To be honest, I did feel a little pain after. No,
I'm talking during the procedure.
Oh, no, not at all. I didn't feel anything.
So we need to make sure everyone knows that. You get this light sedation. It goes into your IV, and our anesthesiologists in-house are excellent. You fall asleep and you wake up and it's all done and you have no clue anything happened.
No clue.
Usually my part takes me usually between like 3 to 5 minutes. If someone has a lot of eggs, maybe 10 minutes, but like rarely even 10 minutes. By the time they get you in the room, out of the room and back, you're probably like a good 20, 30 minutes, let's say. Mm-hmm. But yeah, some people, we give them some extra goodies so they have a really good nap and don't wake up so easily.
I had a great nap. Okay.
The best nap. For all those men out there, if you've ever had a colonoscopy, it's usually the same propofol. And I remember when I had to do mine, oh, wow, that was like the best nap I ever had in my life.
Yeah. It was amazing.
It's amazing. Well, as a result of getting the eggs out, the sperm and the egg then go to the laboratory and we make embryos. And a week later, we get a certain number of embryos that grow really nicely. Those get biopsied, they get frozen, and then we send those little biopsies off. The embryos never leave. Then the biopsy goes out for genetic testing, and then we get the genetic testing results. They come back usually within a week or two, and it tells us, all the embryos and if they're normal, male or female. If I recall, you did really well.
I did really well. Yes.
Like really well.
I think you got 33 eggs.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. And then 12 after the lab. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, that is really good. And I don't have your chart in front of me and I forget these things myself, but I just remembered you did really, really well. And it was a perfect case of an unexplained infertility go perfect. And you got pregnant after your first little transfer.
I did.
And that was perfect. And right now our pregnancy rates have hit around 80%. So basically 4 out of 5 women get pregnant with their first transfer, which is
that's amazing.
Amazing. And it's one of the highest in the country. It's probably double the national average. So that's actually amazing as well. And then 9 months later, you had a beautiful baby and we're again 9 months into it. So does that mean that we're ready for another baby soon?
You want to babysit?
You come to your LA house and you can throw another kid in my house and no one will ever notice. No one will ever notice there's another kid around.
Remember you said that, Dr. Ghadir.
And oh my God, it's being recorded and everyone in the world is going to be able to hear this. It will be a pleasure to babysit your little kid.
So can I turn around and ask you a question?
Of course.
So why do you think, I don't know if it's just because of technology, science, like why do you think so many women are experiencing infertility now, or just issues conceiving?
It's simple and complicated. Simple is when we think about most of our moms and when they had us, I don't know about you. My mom had my sister when she was like 22 and me when she was 24. I promise you, if people were having kids at 22 and 24, 95% of women would never have an issue. Okay. We are waiting a lot longer. I don't know that many women that have kids in their 20s these days. Almost every single woman that I know having kids is usually in their 30s. And we are having a lot of successful women that are hitting the workforce and are career oriented and working hard and are more successful than the guys out there and doing amazing and putting this on the back burner. So when they are ready, if you haven't thought of that egg freezing when you were, I'm so proud of the last consult I did right before this. The woman's 28 years old, works here in Beverly Hills. And she called me and said, I need to freeze my eggs. And she even had a boyfriend and she said it's sounding serious, but she's like, this is a topic that I'm not messing around in. I've had too many stories of people that are young like me that had disasters, and I'm going to be really smart about this. And I just thought that was so good. Yeah. So good. So number one is the age factor. I can't tell you how many, and I did a consult earlier today, 39-year-old attorney. She's like, I work so hard. I have not 1 second to myself, yet alone to find a boyfriend, to find a fiance and move on in life. And I want to have kids for sure. So we have very goal-oriented, career-oriented women that unfortunately have not frozen their eggs, but more and more people are doing it. I would tell every single young woman in your life that you love that you should freeze your eggs so that they don't have difficulties later. So other than the age-related, there are other things going on as well. Okay. There are so many environmental pollutants and things that we are not aware of right now that it's crazy. Some of them we're aware of. I heard of some study that they found plastic in a placenta. Your intake. These are crazy things that I heard of, that they did a biopsy on a placenta and there was little particles of plastic.
What?
That means
That's
there's plastic. So
insane.
it's insane because it really does happen. I think there's so many pollutants. One day my wife gave me these new bottles of deodorant. So I know they don't work as well, okay, but I'm willing to take the risk because I looked at the ingredients that were in my old Speed Stick and I'm like, I don't want those things going into my pores.
No.
And I think that a little bit of this, a little bit of nail polish, a little bit of that, a little bit of chemicals on your hair. And before you know it, you got a lot of chemicals in you. And you have a lot of things in you that, again, our moms didn't even have available to them then in those days to do.
That's very true.
So I think the chemical environment in our world, I think the exposures of radiation, having a cell phone stuck to your head or right here in front of your face, all day long, I'm sorry, it can't be good for you. I do it myself. I don't even know how to live without my phone for a second or two, but I just don't think it's good for you. And I think these are the things that affect things. And I think there's also an equal amount of stuff going on to men. Mm-hmm. We live in California. Guess what? Marijuana is legal. Guess what? Is that good for fertility? No, it's horrible for egg and sperm quality. What can you do? It's a legal thing now, and people don't realize it just because it's legal that it's bad for your fertility. So there's a lot of things going on in the world that affect people's fertility, and we've got to be very careful and smart about this. But I appreciate the fact that you asked it, because people just don't understand why. So this is a perfect moment for us to give that opportunity for women to think about, if you're not ready to do egg freezing. On another podcast I did recently, the person I was talking to said, the best advice I could give someone is, in your 20s, if you know that you may not be having a kid soon, start planning ahead. Start putting $100 aside a month. So when you hit 30 and you have to be prepared, you can financially do it. And it's not going to be a gigantic burden in your life. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was one of the best pieces of advice I'd heard.
Yeah.
But we do have financing options as well. So we can help everyone. But I want to talk a little bit about your company that you started. And I'm so proud of you for this. And I want to hear every single aspect of it, including the social aspect of it too.
Thank you.
But tell us a little bit about your inspiration and how you started and where you are with it now.
So I've actually been dreaming about Get Well Soon since 2017. I'm big on the whole infrared sauna wave. So I love the infrared sauna. It makes me feel good. And there was a studio when I lived in Richmond, Virginia, that was dedicated solely with infrared saunas. But when I moved back to Virginia Beach, we didn't have any. So a friend of mine, Zara, who's my partner in business, we do a lot of things together. We go outside, we meditate together. She's big on meditation. We just do a lot of self-care things. We both have experienced anxiety and depression in the past. Still pops in and out like, hey, Virginia, I'm here.
Well, guess what? Guess what? That's life.
Yeah.
That's life. If you can show me one person that's happy all the time, I'd say that person may be crazy.
Yeah, very, no. So we decided to go in together and start Get Well Soon. So we really our goal is to really make wellness cool. Not to say it's not cool, but, I feel like when you go into wellness studios, they all look the same. There's always the same person there. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's just like, if you see yourself in places, you feel more comfortable. So our goal was, to really get more people involved in meditating and yoga and wellness, just to make it more inclusive.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of meditation. I don't do it enough. Whenever I do it, even for a short 2 to 3 minute meditation, I feel completely rejuvenated. Yeah. And I think it's a great point. And I love that you brought that up, because I want people to hear that meditation is really good for you.
Well, people always say, I can't meditate. I have 1,000 things going on in my brain. And the goal of meditation is not to not think about the 1,000 things going on in your brain. It's really to redirect them to, think about, later I have to go to the grocery store, it's stressing me out, and then putting it in its pocket and moving on to the next thought. So it's not really, getting rid of your to-do list. It's like working through your thoughts. So anybody can meditate.
I think it's a misconception to think that meditation, you have to stop your brain and go into another world.
Yeah.
That's not meditation.
Yeah.
That's not meditation at all. Someone once told me something really interesting. Sometimes I go on a jog, and when I come back, I don't even realize my mind went somewhere else. Mm-hmm. That's meditation. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, the person also told me, like, washing dishes and like it's just washing and washing and you start thinking and your mind wanders and you escape the kind of what you're doing, that's meditation too.
Yep.
So do you guys have online services right now?
So, okay, we opened in February of 2020 and had to close March 2020. So we were only open for literally 30 days.
Oh my God.
And then
I'm so
COVID.
sorry.
Yeah. So when that first happened, we started doing virtual classes. But then there was kind of virtual classes everywhere. So we stopped and we just kind of took a breather. We closed for 6 months and then we reopened in September of 2020. And we do classes, but we just limit the number of people that can come, to classes.
So yoga is the class. Is there anything other than yoga and meditation? There's meditation class and yoga class?
Yes. So sometimes with social club, which I know you wanted to know about, we do sound baths too. So it's
for those people that don't know what a sound bath is, can you explain, please?
Yes. So they're crystal bowls, I think, are the most popular. And they're basically like tuning. So it's a sound meditation almost. I don't want to say that wrong. I don't know the technical words for it, but it's very relaxing. I've also done tuning forks, which is the same. So it's like vibrations.
Do you teach any of the classes?
I don't.
Okay.
So Zara and I are straightforward with that. We both participate in all of our services, but we're not professionals. So we basically brought everything to Get Well Soon that we love to do in our own time that makes us feel better. But we are not the actual professionals that,
What's your favorite thing that you do there?
Social club.
Social club. Okay, so you and I have more in common than we even know. Okay, I'm not only your doctor, but I'd be like, sign me up for the social club at 6 and 7 and 8 p.m., please.
No, so I would say probably massage.
So they have massage too.
Yeah, massage, facial, sauna, yoga,
okay.
meditation. Yeah, probably massage. I love our massage therapist. She's great.
Oh, wow. Oh my God.
I love everything.
Wait, does Terrence do any of these?
He doesn't.
None?
No, I've been trying to get him to.
But he's pretty cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah. I mean, let him tell it. He's like perfect.
It looks like wait. I love that. It looked kind of like every time I've met him, it feels like he just came out of a spa.
Yeah, that's how he is all the time.
Oh my God, he is lucky.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him. He should probably teach one of the classes there. Well, I think a lot of artists know how to go into that world of like, escape, get out of here, and you're in another place, like your happy place. That's great.
Yeah.
That is so great. And so let's talk about the social aspect of the club.
So with social club, we always try to make a theme, and it's usually around wellness or mental health, but we make it's a party too. So
is it like auditorium style? You're sitting, or are you sitting around in tables? Or you're like, how is it? I know it's been very limited, but how do you do that? Or what is your goal to do it?
So before we closed, we had a women's event, and it was a brunch. So the goal was to just have girl talk. And we had like a big bucket of questions or topics. And then everyone around the table, like we just drank mimosas and we went in on all the questions that were in the bowl. So it just depends on what the social club event is. And then, like I said, we have sound bath, and then we had journaling event one time. Coming up in June, we're having a mom's event, a young mom's event. So it's just
that sounds
a
great.
Themed party. Yeah,
that's wonderful. Mm-hmm. God, Virginia, I'm just like thinking ahead. This sounds like an idea and a theme of a place that would do well in many cities around the country. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry we hit COVID. By now, you would have had them in many cities around the country.
I know. So
are the people in your hometown loving it?
Yes. The first year we didn't do any promotion. It was just like word of mouth and social media. Now we started doing a little promotion, and it's It's getting crazy.
Why don't you tell us how you find your business on social media?
So on Instagram, we're at GetWellSoonXO. On Facebook, we're at GetWellSoon.NFK, which stands for Norfolk. And then our website is GetWellSoonXO.com.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's great.
We also sell merch too that people love. So in all honesty, our merch is what kept us afloat while we were closed for 6 months. So people in 50 states. I mean, we had orders in California.
I'm going to be checking my mailbox next week for a merch. Okay. Show everyone so this is a podcast, but the video will go out. I wanted you to show the sweatshirt though, because I loved it when you showed it to me earlier.
So this is cool. Thanks. This is just a plain sweatshirt, but we have a lot of cute tees that have cute sayings on them, like the mental block is hot, just chill. We have a lot of cute tees.
I'm going to make a special edition of Get Well Soon by Dr. Ghadir. That's what we're going to do, okay? We should do something for Fertility Awareness Week, which is coming up next month.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, that would be great. We can talk about that offline. Okay. Surprise everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm so proud of you. You are an accomplished businesswoman now, entrepreneur. Soon I'm going to see one of those spas down the street from my clinic, and I'm going to give people like their coupon code of how to get in there. Is it by membership or anyone can go whenever?
Anyone can book whenever. We do have memberships that are discounted. So you can pay a discounted monthly price and participate in services and classes.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. Well, again, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for opening up in your story. Thank you for opening up your heart and your personal life and let people know and empower other women that have been in your shoes. Thank you for allowing me to help you. I'm honored to have been a part of your beautiful journey. And every time I see a beautiful pic of your baby on your Instagram page, it really just warms my heart.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you for listening today. If you've enjoyed listening, please feel free to write a review. Also, feel free to follow my Instagram at Dr. Shahin Ghadir and message me if you need help setting up a consultation. Look forward to speaking to you soon, and I would love to help you start your family.